Alright, this video will be going over the two advanced Magma chamber strats for left floor 1 of Hotland. These two strats are Tsunderslide and Pan Launch. I would only really recommend implementing these once again at around 53 level, like the Z enter warps, since they only save like around about 2 seconds in total, and that doesn't really matter until you're around 53 level in my opinion. I'm gonna begin with Tsunderslide. Setup is pretty much the start of the setup is pretty much the exact same as a regular out of bounds strat, except you info the punch card in the middle of the vent animation so that you can get some movement off of the encounter. So I got the encounter right there, but by closing the text I was able to walk all the way over there while the encounter plays out. Keep in mind that that encounter is supposed to be Sunder Plane. It's just that in my practice saves that's a Vulcan for some reason, but it doesn't really matter, it works the exact same. It should be noted that when buffering onto this first vent, the pixel will be different depending on if you wrong warped into the room or not. If you did wrong warp into the room, then the pixel will be when just the very end of Frisk's feet is on the vent. If you did not wrong warp into the room, and you just walked in, then the pixel, then Frisk will be slightly further to the right on the pixel, but the trick should still work the same regardless. Right, now to info the punch card. For Tsunderslide, you have about half a second to react and info the punch card, which might seem like a very small amount of time, but as long as you're fast with your infoing, you can usually get it every time. The way that I prefer to info the punch card, which is slightly strange, is I like to use Control, Enter, and Z to get up to use, and then by tapping right, I can immediately info the card. If you watch the way that I do Tsunderslide, you'll notice that right after you finish the strat, you will automatically have to start holding right, anyways, to start moving right. So what I'd actually recommend for infoing is to get onto use. And then before you hit Z the final time to start to info the card, just start holding down right for the next part of the trick, and then you'll immediately be menued onto info anyways. So sort of like this. So use, start holding down right, Z. And so in the trick it would look like this. You can if you want, you could do it with C and Z as well. With only C and Z. That's definitely viable as well. And it would look like this. I'm not that good at this, just because I don't do that, but it is definitely viable. As for when you start to info the punch card, I like to use the smoke. I like to use the smoke to time it, because when you launch, it shoots off smoke like that. I like to time it for the moment when the smoke starts to go. So basically, the moment I see the smoke go like that is when I start the menuing. And the reason why you can't just start menuing immediately is because you need to get far enough to the left so that when this vent launches you, the momentum doesn't just put you back in bounds. Because if I try to do that, I just get sent to the other side. I should also note that there is a small chance of soft locking with this. Because it is possible that you may get clipped into that wall. Like right there, I got really close. Had I gotten a bit further there, then I would have been clipped into this wall and I would have just gotten completely stuck. It looks something like... It would look something like that. But it's pretty uncommon. Hold on. Yes, a soft lock would look like this. But it's pretty uncommon. It's only happened to me like once or twice, really. It's not really something you have to worry about too much. Once you have the text up like this, you will start to walk. You want to start continuing to hold down right and walk along the bottom of the screen. Note that this text could be at the top or the bottom of the screen depending on how you did the trick. Once you start walking down here, you will, at some point around this area, you will get the Suitor Plane encounter. When you do get it, that icon will appear, and then your heart will appear, and then you will move to the side, and then the heart moves to the side. You want to close this text box when the heart appears. So there, when the screen goes black, that's when that's your cue to close the text box, like so. And you'll know that you got the movement if Frisk turns to the right and the heart goes off screen like that. And getting this timing is crucial to saving time, because if you go too early like that, then you just get stopped early and then you barely save any time. And if you go too late, then you don't actually walk that far. And so you want to time it to be right when the screen goes dark, and then you just flee the encounter as usual, and then you move towards this screen transition as normal. Right, so that is Tsunderslide. Now for Pan Launch, I would consider Pan Launch to be the harder one of the two, simply because missing Pan Launch can be a lot more punishing than missing Tsunderslide. So Pan Launch involves PCEing that vent, interacting with the pan, and then using that to interacting with the pan like this, and then using this vent to launch out of the room. I didn't get it there because that's not how I usually do it. So the first thing that they want to do for Pan Launch is you actually want to wait at the top of the room, very slightly, I'm talking when you get into the room, just wait for like a moment, like 1, 2, like that, and that makes this trick a lot less punishing, because if you just start holding down immediately and you miss the PCE, then you get put on this side, which is really bad, because that means you have to walk all the way back on this side and then ride the vent to the other side. However, if you wait just a moment, even if you miss the PCE, by waiting for a moment at the top there, you would have allowed this vent to switch over to the other side, which means that if you miss a PCE, you can just take the pan and go out as normal. It's a lot safer to do that. As for the PCE itself, it is frame perfect to save, because you want to get it on the first possible cycle. The pixel is right there. When the bottom of Frisk's feet is just slightly below this orange line here, that's when you know you're on the pixel. And essentially you want to just one buffer this. If you have to buffer for this, then you'll miss this first cycle, and then you'll end up losing time. So I'll just do it like that. And don't hit V, because that brings up hitboxes in debug mode. Oh my god. Like so. Once you get the PCE, you would want to just hold left like so. And that is, in my opinion, the hardest part of Pan Launch, just getting the PCE, because that is frame perfect. Once you get that though, the last slightly tricky bit that you have to do is interacting with the pan. Here I've slowed the game down to demonstrate when that happens. So essentially, when Frisk is around this area right here, you can start holding down, and then you'll sort of slide downwards into the pan. And the pan does have collision, and so as you're coming in on top of the pan, you will see Frisk sort of slide on the pan slightly. Once that happens, at any point you can interact with the pan and you'll bring the text up, like so. Once you've interacted with the pan, you'll see this text up. What you want to do at the end of the trick is you want to advance to the text that says you got the burnt pan, and then by using this, you can then hop on the vent and take it out of the room. So you want to advance this, and once you're on the vent, get out of the room. Depending on how quickly you do it, that vent can be pointing either right or left. Although if you do it quick enough, then it should always be pointing towards the left. in which case you can just start holding right and you'll make it out of the room. However, in some cases, if you're slow, then that vent can be pointed to the left, in which case just hold right and then you'll make it into screen transition. Alternatively, you can avoid having to react to that altogether by simply holding up like that, and you'll always make it out of the room. So in summary, pan launch is the PCE, grab the pan, advance to you got the burnt pan, and then get out of the and then launch out of the room. So altogether, when these strats are done in quick succession, they will look like this. Like so. Right, and that's basically it with these two strats. Once again, I would not recommend implementing this until you're at around 53 level, because these two strats, they are probably some of the hardest strats in Hotland, and they really only save 2 seconds if you do both of them. So I would not recommend doing these unless, once again, you really need those 2 seconds. But other than that, that's basically it with both of these strats, and I hope this video helped.